Good evening and welcome to another episode of the Star Wars Minute. It's your daily podcast where we analyze, scrutinize, and celebrate solo a Star Wars story 1 minute at a time. I'm Alex Robinson from alexrobinson.fun.
I'm Pete the Retailer from PeteTheRetailer.com.
And I'm Joe Dator, cartoonist, author of the book Inked, illustrator of the upcoming book Santa Doesn't Need Your Help, co-host of the comedy film Funnel with Susan Tekla-Kruglinska, who is a writer, podcaster, singer, dancer, entertainer, wizard, horse trainer, future former lion tamer, and all of those things.
There's not a lot of former lion tamers, I feel like. They either go out, the hard way, or I don't know, I guess that's it, right? Or they keep going.
Yeah, I think if you retire undefeated, so to speak, you've done a good job as a lion tamer. I think. If you get to retire and it's not in a glad bag.
Right.
Yeah.
I think
in one of those like a pooper scooper bag, you know.
I'll go the opposite way. I will say if you were a lion tamer, it is considered shameful if you die in your bed.
They're like Klingons. They're
like a warrior culture there.
You have to die. Yeah, they're just very, very aggressive people. I don't know, but on the other hand, there are people who joined the circus. So actually, that might support your point because the toughest people are circus people.
Yeah.
Well, I'm looking for
carnies.
Somewhere I have a picture of Captain Jack Bonavita, who is a former Coney Island lion tamer. He made his way out to Hollywood at the behest of Mae West and lived the life of a lion tamer. Lost an arm to one of his lions at one point, but survived
in a poker game.
So did the lion. Yeah, and
I like that he went out there at behest of Mae West, and
Mae West became fascinated.
Got to know Clara Bow
and brought him out, and was so lost an arm, kept going. Lion kept working with the same lion, but eventually he was killed by polar bears. So
stay in your lane, Uncle Jack.
I mean, there you go. I mean, just because you've made friends with one ferocious beast doesn't mean you know them all.
Why, I think he came out here to Hollywood.
He didn't realize it.
And he got, it went to his head. He had a fine, lion act at Coney Island. He was like, he was living it up. And then Mae West, like, hey, come out to Hollywood. Be rich and famous. All right. Did some movies, overstepped his bounds, started working with polar bears.
Yeah. And meanwhile, the lions and the polar bears are looking at each other and laughing.
Right.
Oh,
like, we pulled a scam on that guy.
Right. Oh, you see that guy? I ate his arm once. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Well,
they
speaking
were
of
cahoots the whole time.
Speaking of scams, let's talk about minute number 81 of Solo, a Star Wars story. While we're here, minute 81 starts off with Tak, the con artist, telling Sagwa to keep up, and it ends a minute later with L3 telling everyone rebellion.
Cool.
They had asked. They're like, as they're fighting, the Pike were just like, hey, L337, what's your favorite era of Star Wars, of the Star Wars saga? And she was like, rebellion.
Yeah.
And then one of the Pikes was just like High Republic, and then he got shot.
No one's favorite time is the High Republic.
You'd be surprised.
I don't know about that. I mean, my favorite time is this time we're in right now.
Aww.
Yeah.
This minute
me and
now.
you, just us together, you and me. This is the best time. These are the good old days. Yeah.
So at the very start of the minute, we get what is a very noteworthy cameo from Tak the.
Do we see Tak here?
Yes.
Do we fly into Tak here?
Yes,
because
he's on the far side of the. Han and Chewie are pushing the thing of tanks.
You're welcome.
And then Tak is on the far side of it, and he has kind of almost like a Handmaid's Tale style.
He's got a weird hat,
eye shade, or what
he's got a weird hat.
Bonnet.
This is what I like in Star Wars. I like the weird hats. Whenever there's weird hats, I get very excited, and this is an appropriately weird hat for him.
Sure. I didn't realize that you saw him in this. I was like, oh, nice to, it's a familiar voice. Like,
yeah, I actually had some notes for him for tomorrow, or the day after. But we acknowledge that is Golden Tony.
Golden Tony himself.
And he's where he belongs, The spice mines of Kessel.
Yes.
Well,
Very poetic.
there seems to be a kind of I wouldn't say it's a revisionist history, but I've seen a lot of references to his bit here as like continuing the tradition of Anthony Daniels being in every Star Wars movie, and I was like, well, it's. I thought it was more like R2 and 3PO were the ones who were. It wasn't. It was never like George Lucas wasn't like, yeah, I want to tell the whole story from the point of view of Anthony Daniels. You know, it was always the robots that were going to be it. But now they're trying to make it seem like it's this big triumph that they got Anthony Daniels to be in a tiny little part.
No,
Right.
it's not like Ted Raimi in every. It's
from
not like Ted Raimi, or it's not like the Pizza Planet truck. It's not like a recurring joke that he's always in it. He's in it because he played a character that recurred in the films. That's which makes it's like. There's a lot of people who did that.
Yeah.
Many actors appeared in all of those films.
Actually,
as
are there
the
any
same character?
No, I mean, I think he's the...
Not as the same character. I almost feel like Palpatine might be the closest because he's in...
Yeah.
He's in all except for 3 of the... He's not in any of the Star Wars stories, though.
But it's not an Easter egg that he's in it.
But now he's in... Retroactively, he's in the Empire Strikes Back.
Right, that's what I mean. But he's not in any of the. He's only in one of the sequel era movies. So.
Right. So it's 3. He's in 4 movies.
Yeah. So you did mention that it is a nice bit of ring theory to have Anthony Daniels, finally at last in the spice mines of Kessel.
Let me back up and say Warwick Davis is in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
not
7,
playing
8,
the same
9
character,
of them.
Though.
No, not playing the same character.
Right.
But,
yeah.
I mean, that's.
But I mean,
that's
out
like
of anybody,
kind of a.
Yeah,
and he's played multiple characters in the same movie, so he's probably actually technically played more characters than anyone in Star Wars.
That's kind of a fun little Easter egg to notice him in all the movies there.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So I also think it's kind of funny that I was going to call him 3PO, that Tak, the con artist, is telling to Sagwa, "Oh, keep up," which is such a C-3PO talking to R2-D2 kind of a thing to say, like, oh, make sure you're, hurry up, stay with me. I think that's a nice little bit of a...
Or vice versa, Han Solo talking to, hurry it up, Goldenrod, or you're going to be a permanent resident.
That's true, yeah.
So, like, it's people, C-3PO is never traveling at the same speed as anybody else. He marches to the beat of his own drummer.
I feel like the movies rhyme too much sometimes.
How so?
It'd be like if you wrote a poem where it was just the same word over and over again. Yeah, it rhymes, but can we throw some new stuff in there? Can we do something we haven't heard before?
Although I do think having a poem where every word was literally the exact same word, I think that would be an accomplishment unto itself. If you were able to come up with a coherent thing that.
Right.
Yeah.
Like if Groot wrote poetry or when Pokemon wrote, if they wrote their own poetry.
Yeah, or an annoying child. Dad, 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 dad,
Right.
Does technically rhyme. And it's a palindrome.
Yeah.
That's an extra.
I want to answer a criticism of this movie.
Oh, okay.
Uh-oh.
Do you want us to
take on
come
the
up
critics.
with one for you to answer?
I have a take. I want to bring this up.
Right.
There's a criticism of this movie that goes around that it's unnecessary. Is this movie necessary? And the answer is no movie is necessary. It's a movie. It's an entertainment. So just sit down. And that is how I'm going to answer most criticisms of the film, is in a very similar manner to that. So as we
should really just relax.
moving right along, I just want to say that.
I would say the movie that mattered the most was probably the Virgin America safety video.
Yeah. That was necessary because it saved lives. Yeah.
Federally required, and also, it imparted important information. But sadly, it's gone now. So.
But it's not even because we did our Virgin Movie by Minute podcast about the.
Sure.
We were guests.
We didn't do it. We were guests.
Yeah, we were guests on it. But it must be on YouTube or something. But
you can still watch it, but it's no longer serving its initial purpose.
It's not necessary anymore.
Yeah.
I will say the movie is very necessary, because how else were we ever to know how Han Solo got his ship, how Han Solo got his gun, how Han Solo and Chewbacca met, how he wound up working for Jabba the Hutt, how Lando got his L3 robot, all this stuff we would have no idea about. So
is there anything
I agree with Joe. Totally necessary.
Is there anything we No, my point is it's not necessary because it's an entertainment, and if you're waiting for movies to be necessary, because I don't know what would make it necessary. I don't know what you're waiting for. They're movies. These are entertainments. I do think it'd be funny.
Well,
if in
hold on a
1977
second.
Yes. Well, in some cases,
Yeah,
they're entertaining.
I agree with you on the movie part. The entertainment part, that part we'll have to hash out.
I do think it'd be funny if
but...
in 1977 a bunch of people said, "Well, I mean, did we need to find out all this stuff that's in? Did we need to find out about Luke Skywalker and all that? I mean, is it necessary?"
Right.
No.
It's true. It's Empire Strikes Back. Like we didn't need to know who Luke's father was, really.
Well, that's probably true.
Well, we found that out in episode 3 anyway. So
yeah. I mean, I found out a couple weeks before, but
right.
That's me because I read the novelization.
You wrote the novelization?
I wrote the novelization, and then I read it and was surprised when I read it. Weirdly, it doesn't make any sense, but I have a very short memory. I have a very short memory. It's great if you want to be a writer because you always have things to read.
Well, back to Golden Tony and his cameo here.
Mhm.
This is the first time going through. I don't think I wasn't listening for it, but this was the first time I actually heard him say specifically, "Stay with me, Sagwa."
Yeah.
Stay with me, Sagwa. Like, and I was like, oh, that's why we know what Sagwa's name is. And like that, I thought it was just although again, Sagwa could have, we're just assuming that. I like that. I don't like rather that the absolute literal interpretation of everything that happens on screen when it's translated into, not to take anything away from the story team, and they're doing, they have a lot of work to do. But when it's just like, oh, he said, "Stay with me, Sagwa," that means, that this Wookiee's name is Sagwa, and then he has a relationship, like versus like, that could just mean buddy in Shirawook or something like that. You know what I mean? It could mean like friends.
Well, we could get away with that if it wasn't for all the ancillary material, because we didn't have
that's what I mean.
all that stuff. And
yeah, that's like I'm almost long. We've said this as we get closer and closer to real time with covering these movies, is that there's no time for this stuff to breathe a little bit. It's not just our coverage, but it's like there were at least 20 years before a lot of the stuff in Star Wars was even poked at. And here it's just like, oh no, everything that's on screen has to have an explanation and an example and a databank entry.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, well, I like it when they leave us room to breathe and they leave opportunities. And so like this, I'm like, well, all right, I don't have a problem with his name being Sagwa, but it's just like, okay, he said this, therefore it's this, and this is and it's locked in.
Yeah, I like when there's stuff for kids in the schoolyard to argue about.
Yeah.
Like, did you hear what he said? You know what that means?
Right.
No. Is that what that means? Yep, that's what I heard.
Yeah.
That was sort of the fun of Star Wars for me.
Fortunately, the internet has proven that people will never run out of stuff to argue about, particularly when it comes to Star Wars. And
That's
there's still,
Yeah.
that, his name is Sagwa, but you don't know what their relationship is. There's still a lot of like, especially with Solo, because Pete, as you can probably testify, every time I've gone to a Wikipedia entry, most of the stuff in Solo, only the events of Solo is the only thing you'll see mentioned. It's very rare that a character from, maybe a handful of characters from Solo, they've expanded with backstories and whatnot.
Yeah.
So, but yeah.
When I was a kid in the schoolyard, we had lore. We would like, say, did you see that thing where he said that thing? And the other guy said, yeah, that's what that meant. Yeah, that's what that means. That's what's really happening there. And one of the bits of accepted lore was that when Han Solo comes back to save the day at the end of Star Wars, he's drunk. He's drunk, but also Harrison Ford was drunk when he filmed it. And I don't know why we were told that, but somebody said, and he was really drunk too. Like, really? Wow. Really drunk? Yeah, for real.
So he was method acting then.
We made it up. I don't know. What I came from, we made it. Somebody made it up and then it went around. That was going around. Wow. It was that Han Solo is drunk. Harrison Ford got drunk to film the scene. And of course we know that's preposterous right. Because we know he got massively stoned.
That's true. Yeah, that's more likely.
That's what really happened.
We've all seen the pictures of him with Sergio Mendes.
Yeah.
What's so strange?
There's no way that guy wasn't
What's
lighting
strange
up
about
before
that
any
is-
task.
Wasn't that scene just most likely like filmed after they finished filming like the scene where they were getting pulled into the Death Star and they're like, okay, Harrison, we just need you to go woohoo, all right, kid, blow it away. We don't need.
Right.
It's
We're
not
on
like
the
he
set.
had to.
They were on the set. They were on the cockpit
Yeah.
set. He was already sitting there, and they said, "Oh, and we need this thing for the very end. We're going to do
He's
that
like, I'm
all
already
in one
drunk."
day. We're doing it all in
And I'm
one
like,
day.
use it. Han will be drunk in the scene. He had to get drunk, just get the courage to go back to fight the Death Star.
Right. Or
Works
he was, planning on leaving, got drunk, got kind of wistful. Was like, oh, I miss my friends. And then he came back to save
I
them.
thought you said, or he got drunk and got lost, and then happened to show
Right.
up at the Death Star battle.
He was like, take that, Jabba. Who? Oh, that's not Jabba. Wait, what's going on?
Well, speaking of Han, there's a little scene, opportunity here that I feel sadly missed when Han Solo introduces himself to Sagwa.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like this would have been a good opportunity for him to try out his Wookiee, his Shirawook again.
That's true.
But I almost feel like they didn't want to keep doing that, because if it didn't work in that one scene, if they were like, oh, it's cringy, we gotta take that out, then they would have to take it out of all these other scenes. And I mean, I guess they could have just shot it twice, once with him saying Chirrut and once with him, because I feel like it would have been a nice callback for him to be like rah 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 rah, and then to be like,
And plus, when you do learn another language, one thing that you're, probably the thing that you hopefully feel pretty confident in is like, hello, my name is Han Solo. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's how I learned to say that in different languages. Not even my own name. I'm just like,
you'd say, hello, my luggage is
Yeah.
lost, or something like
Je
that.
m'appelle Han Solo.
Yeah.
Mi chiamo
Yeah, I
Han
think
Solo.
he only uses the language when he really has to, though.
Right.
I think it was a moment where he didn't really need to try to desperately communicate with Sagwa. So, but he does kind of assume that Sagwa speaks English,
Right.
which I guess maybe he heard the other guy yelling at him, "Come on, stay over here.
That's true.
Follow
So
my
now
instructions in English."
TAC has a purpose, narrative purpose, in establishing that Sagwa understands basics. So Han Solo can introduce himself.
Right.
Well, I
exactly.
also-
There it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We'll get to TAC later on also with another. So I like the fact that we don't know if Sagwa actually understands English, because Sagwa's reaction, he's like, I'm a friend of Chewbacca's, and Sagwa just goes over and pets him on the head. And to me, that makes him think like, I don't think he does speak English. I think it's almost just like a cat is coming up to him going, meow, 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 meow. And he's like, oh, look at you. I haven't seen a cat in so long.
Right. Like if a dog comes up to you at a party and starts, sniffing around, you just give him a little, okay, good.
Yeah.
Good. Nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yeah, Zach was just humoring him.
Yeah, they really are like pets to Wookiees.
Yeah. He's like,
We
Chewie,
really
get
are
your
like-
dog off of me.
Yeah, and if he had spoken in Wookiee, it wouldn't have worked anyway. My guess is his Wookiee is still not very good. I mean, we did see it translated into subtitles, and it was pretty poor.
Right.
So-
Do you think that they asked? Did Golden Tony refuse to be a droid in this, or did they specifically want him to? Because tons of droids in this scene, they easily could have had Tony Daniels in one of those things. I mean, Warwick Davis we saw was playing one, a second ago. But do you think he was like, no, I won't be doing that? Like
I'm sure of it. I'm sure he
especially
said,
after
you
he
need to
sees
see
Alan-
my face and hear my voice on camera, or I refuse to show up on set. I refuse to show up on
he
set.
sees Alan Tudyk and Phoebe Waller-Bridges walking around with just wearing green screen suits with a little bit of mechanics on them, and he's like, I gotta be bolted into that thing for 8 hours at a time.
Oh, he definitely, I think, is loving having the I forgot the name of the guy.
Tact.
No, there's the kind of public appearance C-3PO.
Oh, right.
The guy who's in the suit most of the time now.
the understudy,
Yeah.
the David Prowse of the C-3PO set.
Mm.
Because Golden Tony still does the voice.
Right, yes. Right. So
Yeah.
there's the guy who's doing it now, whose name I can never remember, even though he's been in a ton of things. And whenever you see C-3PO now, it's mostly that guy. I'm sure he would let that guy be in them, but then he would show up to do the voice. He doesn't want to do in the suit very much, and nor really should he have to.
Oh no, I totally understand it.
Yeah.
So
Chewie's friend Han. They're friends. Hey.
Well, that's nice.
I like that it's like Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen, Chewbacca's friend Han Solo.
Yeah. No, I'm going to propose two different designs to come out of this episode. One is that, like in this Superman's pal Jimmy Olsen kind of font thing, like Chewie's friend Han. Although that's not enough letters, but
we have to be Han Solo.
But also, what do you think? Should we do? Was it like Subway or Safeway? Safeway probably makes more sense for Sagwa. Like, if we take the corporate logo for Subway or Safeway,
why not do both?
Safeway.
Didn't Sagwa just meet Chewie like 30 seconds ago?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, but
as far as we know,
he freed him from slavery. So
he's already legendary among this little group of Wookiee slaves in there.
Right. But I don't know why he would be like, I don't know. If I were, Chewbacca, like Sagwa shouldn't be impressed with Han Solo.
No.
He should be like, because Chewie probably showed up. He was like, "Hey, sorry, I'm late. My human almost didn't let me come, but I'm here to free you."
Sorry, I'm late. Like, you were supposed to be there 3 hours ago.
Hey, sorry, I'm late. Are you guys in chains? Oh, let me take care of that.
Do you think this is something Chewie's been putting off for like 3 years, and he's like, "Oh, this is a perfect opportunity. I can finally go free Sagwa."
Maybe he knew they were there. We see him see the Wookiees and go, "Oh, wait, there's Wookiees here. I better go check in with them. There might be."
So he at least
there might be slave free and to do, and they're. Who knows what.
Once they saw him, then he was like, now I have to go save them. Otherwise, they're going to know I was here. It's like first they made eye contact and Chewie looked away really quick and he was like, I know he saw me. I got to go help free him now. I can't just pretend I didn't see him.
Yeah, he's a lot like Han Solo. He's right. Oh, God. I got to do the right thing. Damn it. Right. Yeah. That's the Han Solo. That's the Han Solo thing, right? It's like, oh boy, I'd really love to just mess around and make some money, but somebody's in trouble and I gotta do it. I gotta do it. All right. I'll never sleep at night. I'll never live with myself if I don't do it.
And there you go.
So while everyone is
one of my favorite things about this movie is that plot point of Chewie doing this. It's a great character moment for Chewie. It really is. I mean,
Is he the only morally driven character in the story? No one else does anything out of what?
Han Solo.
How do you figure?
He does good things even in spite of himself. That's his whole character.
What would you say is his most moral act in the film?
It's I don't want to spoil it.
Well, in this film,
but it's not helping free slaves, though, right?
Well, not this.
He didn't have time.
But he does say to Chewie, "I guess I'll see you around." He does say,
"I will not interfere with your freeing of slaves."
This thing is more. I guess it's more important than this, and you gotta go. And that's that's something. That's something. All right, it's not an active thing, but.
I'm giving kudos to
trust
Chewbacca.
Me, when you see the rest of the movie, there's stuff coming up where he does the right thing in spite of himself. That's his thing. That's his character.
Okay.
Just like in Rise of Skywalker, where he does the right thing and comes back for a cameo, even though he had already been killed off because he knew that was really written for.
Anyway, so we see a red protocol droid you see there's a shot where they're kind of standing in the path and everyone's running out of the
yes.
There's the bums rush, as I call it. There's like the bums rush of people coming out of the cave.
Yeah.
Right.
The miners and droids and dirty people. Everyone's wearing brown and yellow.
Totally should have thrown in Wilro Hood. Have him running out of the mines with a little Camptono of
I was going to go, they should have done an airplane and just have a topless lady run out real quick. Yeah. and pass by. But yeah, Wilro Hood would have been good too.
Like it's a cookbook.
Yeah, they should have worked in thousands of cameos in this scene. It should have been, like a bunch of people.
Right.
Yeah, like there should be like a priest and a nun, and just like a Superman, a guy in a suit, just a gorilla suit, somebody in a gorilla suit, not a Wookiee, just a gorilla suit, like an old style.
Or a Wookiee in a gorilla suit would be funny.
Or a guy in a gorilla suit takes off the head, and it's a Wookiee.
And it's a Wookiee. Yeah.
Wookiee.
Or it was this whole time they thought he was a Wookiee, but it was a guy in a gorilla suit, and he was like, "Oh, thank God, I'm finally get out of those mines. I got to deliver this telegram." Well, anyway, we see a red protocol droid, not C-3PO. Don't get excited.
Not C-3PO?
It is not.
Nazi 3PO.
That's
That's
his
next movie.
name?
That's next
Oh
movie.
boy.
No,
he's
his
with
name
the
is
Empire. I'm hoping he's with the Empire.
S1D6 SA5 is his name.
Bingo.
I might be missing some of those S's and 5s. They look the same when I wrote them, but you get the idea. It's a bunch of random jibber jabber numbers.
Mm-hmm.
I guess they're just calling.
He's got a non-humanoid head. He's got a head that looks like a USB port.
Is that a?
The rest of his face don't look so good either.
Is that a male
How was
droid
your
or
night? You look like a
female droid?
USB port. Is that what?
Because I said, is it a male droid or a female droid? What
From the looks of the codpiece, that is a male droid.
I didn't get close enough to check.
Trust me.
They don't give the gender of him in at least in the official guide.
All right, because
that robot.
Oh yeah, there you go. S1. I wrote SID. It's S1D6. They refer to them as an it. But I had a little. Did we talk about the portrayer of S1D6 SA5?
No, not that I remember. What you got?
Not with me.
All right. Well, S1D6 SA5 was played by an actress named Stephanie Silva. Stephanie Silva. So I was trying to see if how much of that droid name might be a Tuckerization of sorts, but
a bunch of S's in it.
Yeah. We have seen Stephanie Silva in, I believe, 3 roles so far. 3 roles, I believe, so far.
A lot of roles.
Stephanie Silva played a character who's come up in conversation this season so far, which is 8D9, I believe, or ME8D9. There you go. ME8D9 is the kind of Maria style, Metropolis Maria style droid in Maz's castle who informs the rebellion.
Oh, with the weird ears.
Yeah. Well, we've all got weird ears, so.
I saw that costume. That costume was on display in New York City years ago. They had it in the windows at Bloomingdale's, and you could walk up and see it. And it was like a couple of weeks before the Force Awakens came out. And they had a bunch of props and costumes on display, and some of them were kind of spoilery, actually. I got a few plot points spoiled by the Bloomingdale's window on 3rd Avenue.
That's
not what I expected. But yeah.
An unlikely source for spoilers.
But that's why you have to just put blinders on if you're doing that, because the spoilers could come from anywhere. They could come from under your own carpet in your house.
Yeah.
You just have to go into a coma.
It's true.
I highly recommend it. I recommend it.
I wonder if in the Wikipedia entry for that robot, does it say first appearance Bloomingdale's window?
Right.
To the 2018, the same way Boba Fett first appeared at that
parade.
civic parade in
and
Northern
Therm
California.
Scissor Punch first appeared at Denny's.
3 a.m.
Stephanie Silva. Also, we saw Stephanie Silva in Rogue One as the priest Sylvanie Fest. You guys going to Sylvanie Fest this year?
It was a total Sylvanie Fest, that party.
Sylvanie Fest.
I have to miss it. I don't have my Sylvanie ready.
Oh.
You have to build your own, apparently.
Yeah, you can't. Yeah. If you show up in a store-bought Sylvanie,
they all look down on their nose at you.
Sylvanie Fest is one of those one of the disciples of the Wills. One of the wearing like a big like a welding mask with a maroon robe.
Yeah.
She was one of those.
Right. That's some weird hattage right
That's
there.
some weird hat.
I love the weird hats in Star Wars.
That's a weird hat, Harry.
One of the reasons I love this scene, I specifically wanted to talk about this Kessel scene. It's because of all the weird hattage that's in it. And look no further than Anthony Daniels.
Stephanie Silva was also an unnamed alien in Canto Bight. We don't know which one, so unnamed
canonically.
We don't know. According to Wikipedia, it's just like casino alien.
An alien with no name.
Yeah.
I wonder if they've been through the desert.
Is Casino Alien...
Very likely, because every other planet is a desert. So
That's true, yeah.
Why not?
Maybe Anafathier with no name.
Yeah.
I'm just picturing the action figure of Casino Alien, just generic
Right.
Casino Alien. I guess that's even worse than like Walrus Man, because at least that's descriptive of what he looks sort of
Kind
like.
yeah.
So,
Well, do you have a picture
was
of the unnamed Cantonite
No,
alien?
that's not. We don't even know who she. Just
we don't know which one
that
it
she,
is. So
We know that she appeared as a casino alien because the website of her representation listed her as casino alien in.
Yeah, because if
Last
we had the
Jedi.
picture, we could make up something like shrimp feet or knob face or
Shrimp
something,
feet.
something like that, or
oh, knob face.
Have you ever heard the tale of shrimp feet and knob face?
horse neck.
And we'll keep an eye out for Stephanie Silva. She will appear later in this film once again as a different character.
Wait, are the priests? What are the priests' name in Rogue One? Isn't it like Sylvani?
This priest was Sylvani Fest.
Okay, so that one's kind of named.
That's
in her honor.
It's totally a Stephanie Silva Sylvani Fest.
Yeah.
That's a good Tuckerization right there. Anagrammatic Tuckerization.
Mm-hmm.
Having some problems with the anagrammatic Tuckerization. Give us a minute to lock it down.
So they go out onto the landing platform there, and a battle is broken out, as we can see, between the Wookiees and the Pike guards and the droids. And Han doesn't have a weapon, of course. He went in there as a slave, so he did not. But Lando, it was a very nice toss. He does a kind of toss. He does a gun toss. That's very.
It's so good. It's worth the ticket price alone.
Yeah. First, he Lando. I love that he's just doing this 2-gun kind of impervious. Like he knows that he's in The Empire Strikes Back, so he can't die here. So he's just totally like just like out there shooting.
It does
things.
seem like he should be dead from all the shots that are whizzing by his head.
Told him he's going to live a long, long time.
Right. Long time.
Yeah,
but yeah, and then he does an excellent. He's just like hand and doesn't hand him the gun. He doesn't hand the gun. He gives him.
I wonder great. There's a droid going. There's one of those goofy looking droids. There's the Wookiees are pushing the cart full of the stuff, and the camera's moving around, and he catches the gun perfectly. I wonder how many takes it took to catch that perfectly. I don't know.
Yeah,
could have been a few. Could have been a couple. I don't know. It might have been like the basketball in Alien 4. It might have been like 100.
I hope we eventually find out that they
takes. Yeah,
that they actually tricked it by doing it backwards, and they had everyone running backwards, and just.
Then the other guy would have to catch it the right way.
I'm gonna say
but then they wouldn't be going backwards. So
I'm gonna be
Vader catching the gun in Empire Strikes Back from when he in Cloud City. That's back. They did that backwards,
right?
Didn't they? I think they did. But this is
I think he was holding it and they yanked it out. Yeah.
I don't know. We don't know. Maybe Alden Ehrenreich probably did 187 takes for something that they said, we could just do this digitally. No. I think
they did. I'm going to be the wet blanket and say there was no gun.
CGI.
Or there was one and then he just dropped it and pretended to throw it. And then they had him, they just either erased a gun or added a gun in digitally.
I am going to go one further.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I'm going to say that Donald Glover threw Andy Serkis to Alden Ehrenreich, and then they later digitally replaced him with a gun.
Nice.
So,
and I love the idea of Andy Serkis in midair being like, blam, blam, blam.
They got
I'm a gun.
The basketball from Alien 4 and had him throw that, and then made it into the blaster in the final shot.
So one question about Lando going out there. I also like if it's double. I love that anytime in Star Wars, anyone's double fisting with their guns. I don't feel like we don't see it enough. But like, who is he shooting? Does he know? Like, as far as he knows, he's just seeing a bunch of droids and Wookiees and a random people all fighting each other. Is he just kind of like, well, that guy's got a gun, I'll shoot him? Or is he only shooting at people who are shooting at him? Or who is he? What's going on? What's his strategy? He doesn't know. Anyway, yeah, that's it.
Hey,
He's shooting at any weird hat he sees.
Right.
The weirdest
trying to knock off their
Tack.
hats.
You see
so
a hat.
Tack, he'll shoot at Tack because Tack's got a weird hat.
Yeah. He probably
Tack's
would
got a
have
weird
if he had seen him. He probably didn't see him because it's, not the weirdest hat, but some of the weirder hats are getting shot at. He just doesn't like the weird hats. He's a very fashion conscious man.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's just not stylish at all.
No.
Yeah.
He's like, take that ridiculous thing off, and he's shooting it.
Either that hat goes or you go.
My last note is we see them starting to load the coaxium brand hyperfuel onto the ship, and it looks like Chewie and Sagwa are just kind of like carrying them up by hand one at a time up the platform. I'm like, isn't this a freighter? Shouldn't there be like a elevator in the bottom where you can just load something on and it goes right up? You have to carry everything by hand up the ramp? Anyway, Han Solo should definitely build a freight elevator in the bottom of that thing. So
it's a converted freighter.
Get on that, Han.
They should have the thing that opens the trunk, like a little clicker.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have it. That's the problem.
Well, then again, also, it's Chewie just doesn't really know this ship, so maybe there is one on there, but like Lando's not going to stop the battle and say, "Hold on, let me lower the elevator." So maybe this is
my key is in the the front pocket of my backpack. No, go over. You know the room past the other room. It's kind of like a mud room. Go in there. And
I want to see Han and Chewie getting to know the ship, trying out all the gadgets. That should be Solo 2. Solo 2 should be the acclimation. Solo 2, the movie, comma, a Star Wars story, the getting used to the Falcon, the acclimation.
I like that.
So it like a lot of them
part
like
2.
Banging their heads on things and pressing a button that shoots out seltzer and instead of activating the hyperdrive.
Exactly. That's what I want. That's Solo. That should be Solo 2. That should
Chewie getting so mad he tears all the padding out of the walls and stuff, so it's all wrecked. It's it'd be great if in Empire Strikes Back, like Lando got on the ship again, and he was like, "Wait a minute, you've had the parking brake on the whole time." You know, like some simple thing that they could have had that could have been very useful. But that
they did
cloaking
that
device, you never turned it on once. You know, so
that's in Doctor Who. They did that at some point.
That's an interesting movie to me. It's more like sort of like a '70s van movie. You know, just
like Cannonball Run, kind of.
Well, like, nothing bad happens. They just cruise around like Wooderson or something.
Right.
Like Cannonball Run.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah.
That is all I have for minute number 81.
I have a surprising fact about the movie, Solo, the movie, the film. I'm going to have surprising facts every day. I actually have a list of surprising facts about the movie.
All right.
Today's surprising fact about the movie, Solo, the movie, the film, a Star Wars story, the movie. It is based on the book Ethan Frome by Edith Wharton.
Public domain. They went public domain with this one.
They changed a hell of a lot. Almost the whole thing, but that was the basis for the story.
Ethan Frome, by Edith Wharton, the book.
The book.
Right.
A Star Wars story.
Yeah.
Yes.
So weirdly, instead of just publishing a new version of Ethan Frome with a movie cover, they actually did a novelization of the adaptation of the.
Well, it's like that happens nowadays when there's an adaptation of the movie which is an adaptation of a book, but they'll still do the adaptation of the. You know, I mean, they'll write
the novelization of the movie based on the book, which is different from the book.
Right.
The book, the movie, and the book are are the same.
Book is
are
different
the same
from the movie.
If it's the novelization of the movie, it's different because it's a book.
Right.
Right. So it's more similar to the book than to the movie.
The novelization is more similar to the original novel than it is to the movie. Correct.
Right.
But I think we're still not going to get to the producers. Aren't they making a movie of the producers musical, which is based on the movie?
They did.
They did. They made a movie of it? Okay.
Like 15 years ago.
All right, well, I think isn't that 4 levels? Because there's the
movie, then there's the musical, then there's the movie of the musical.
Right.
But they've done a few of those. They made a few of those. They did the. I don't know.
I think we found my adaptation that I've been looking for a book to novel, a movie to novelize. So maybe this I could find
the producers.
The producers musical.
Do you know it's a true fact that Eric Idle has been trying to make a movie of Spamalot for 20 years?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. A thing I'm very glad he hasn't made. No one wants that. No one wants that.
Somebody's going to say that they want that.
We all want Solo 2, the movie, the film, A Star Wars Story, Part 2.
Make Solo 2 happen.
Thank you.
And if you have to make Spamalot while you're doing it, that's fine too. But just come on.
Han-a-lot. Well, if we've gotten to that point, clearly it must be time to wrap up the show. So let's end with a plug for our StarWarsMinute.com/merch. We've been reloading a couple of old classic designs that we found in some old computers. So if there was an old design that you were like, oh, I wish I'd gotten that when I had the chance, like the Princess Leia, the 4-block Princess Leia one, a couple of other ones that were removed from our TeePublic store, you can still get them on our Threadless store by going to StarWarsMinute.com/merch and then joining us tomorrow for another brand new episode
Star Wars Minute.
The movie.
of Star Wars Minute, the hit musical.